Come to Terrace, BC, and it's easy to notice the love within the services in this small and spirited community. This is a show about the people and organizations that give back and make this area so awesome. This is Good in Terrace. In this episode, we meet Brandy Trudell Davis of the Terrace Women's Resource Center Society.
I have a fantastic team, so I don't have to manage my team, but I've got a really good team. So I kind of oversee the contracts, budgeting, funding, and those kind of things. Part of it is developing relationships, working with the community. So the resource center is really well situated, so we don't necessarily provide services. We're more of a resource. We kind of bring all the resources in Terrace together and then navigate people through the system. So those relationships are important. So just networking, knowing what's going on in the community. We look at the whole social determinants of health. So we're looking at housing, social services, food security, taxes, access to government services. So maybe for instance, I'll just say like a client can come to us for the voluntary tax program. So we will do taxes for low-income families. And then they have access to their tax information. So now they can have a CRA account and now they can get ID. So it's kind of like making sure like at each point they have the services that they need to maybe access bigger services or other services. We connect, we include, and we grow. So it's about making those connections, those networks, bringing people together, bringing resources together, inclusive. So we are a no barrier service. We provide services to anybody who access us. And I know there is a bit of reluctancy because we are the Terrace Women's Resource Center. So there is reluctancy for some people to access services here, but we are open to the whole public, anybody who wants any kind of services. And even sometimes people don't know what they want and they just come in here and they're just like, I don't know what I want. I just need to know what you have. So we are an open door policy. So we have Catherine and Kayla upstairs who are our first point of contact. So we're considered, Bryn, who is our Terrace Women's Resource Manager, has a fantastic way of saying we're the first door. And so we are, Catherine and Kayla are the first door that people access. So then they're either referred internally or externally. So Catherine is actually our champion of the tax program. So she will do taxes for lower moderate income families and individuals.
We're raffling some of them off. This is Bridget, again, our social services coordinator, doing some fun.
We have a fantastic community care, childcare resource and referral program. Tara is the manager of that. So that's for parents who are trying to access daycare. Those are for childcare providers who want to be licensed and don't know necessarily how to go through the process of licensing.
You're famous.
Bridget, who is our social services coordinator. So for instance, maybe somebody who's having issues with housing or rental agreements or even accessing houses or housing, they can connect with her and she will connect them like with Kasan or the food bank or the garage. So so those kind of services to really build people a support system around individuals to be able to then put them into the next service that they need. So one of the most difficult things, like even me, like I'm fairly high capacity. I have difficulties even accessing government forms. So it's helping people with government forms, walking people through those kind of systems as well. So it's really whatever it's supporting social determinants of health, like whatever people need to be healthy or well. It's how we can connect those services to them, and that's Bridget. And then we have a fantastic family and youth coordinator who is Amanda, who then does literacy services for youth and families. So that's everything from self-defense, it's a mentoringship program, it's kind of filling that gap for kids 8 to 12 and preparing them to access other services once they're 12, like the Foundry, usually they have to be 12. So it's kind of building capacity and those connections to be able to move children into the next stages of where they may need some resources. And so it's also for parents. They have a fantastic parent drop-in where families will come with their children just to connect, spend some time together and access resources through them. Kristen has a fantastic lending library for childcare providers. So any childcare provider in Terrace or the surrounding areas, the Nass, Kitimat, Kitsim-Kalem, Kitsalis, childcare providers can come and access these themed kits, and it's a tote and you take it and then you go teach and learn with your group and then bring it back and exchange them. These are our resource boxes and they're based on learning, so they're themes, and these are the ones that the childcare takers can, or childcare providers can actually take and do like a whole program with their kids. This is our laminator. So again, community organization, childcare organizations can come in and for a minimal fee come and do some laminating. And then Amanda, who is a program coordinator, she has a fantastic one for parents. So it's maybe more expensive toys that you're not quite sure if you really want to buy them. We have them, you can sign them out, test them out for a little while. This is the parent lending library.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so anyways, they did talk about replacing cards, but yeah.
Sweet, so anybody can come and just ask to rent, or how does it
Yes,
work?
so they come and ask Kayla, our front office, or Amanda, this is their.
Yeah. So it's not your fault. It's just the way it is, unfortunately, the way it works. Yeah.
But it's part of our system, internally, should be something.
And then this is the space that's usually pulled open for our parent drop-in.
And so parent drop-in is a regular thing?
Yes, every Tuesdays from 10 till
You wouldn't know how that cheese is
12.
activating it. You wouldn't even think it does anything.
And
Does it get busy?
yeah, we also have Fiber Arts, which is it's a fantastic group of women who come in once a week and they do anything arts and crafts. So there's macrame, there's crocheting, there's knitting, there's somebody who is doing felting, I think it's called. So it's just a space for people to come, a safe space for people to come, connect, and just chat over something that's really neutral. Yeah, we have space available for community services as well. So all our space upstairs, the open space, is available to any user groups.
Oh wow, is that free? Like
It's free, yeah, and it's depending on like, first of all, our organizational needs are met, and then is other people using it, and then it's also depends on what the reason is. Or
Things that they brought up.
if they have their own Zoom account, they're welcome to use our audiovisual as well.
Yeah, that's a serious.
They did it, and that's where they do
TV in there.
Yep.
Nice.
pieces that we circulate.
It's all grant-based, donation-based. So Bryn, who is the program manager, she's fantastic at searching out funding. So currently it's WAGE, which is Women and Gender Equity, a GRIT program, Canadian Women's Foundation. So basically we just have to access pockets of funding and then make it work within that. Hi. Many of the organizations are having to change and shift with COVID and with all the results of COVID and a global pandemic. And I think nonprofit organizations and essential workers, we were still in there, we were still going 100% during all of this. And now I think we're tired, and it's like this is a really good time to do some asset mapping and some partnerships and collaborations to see how can we just work together to hold everybody up to be able to then provide the services for the community. Nonprofits were all kind of struggling for the same funding, like core funding for nonprofit organizations to be able to do the work. Nonprofits are really, we have that nimble ability to meet the needs of the community as the community needs us, and some of us really struggle. So it's like that core funding for nonprofit organizations to meet the needs of the community. So we just wrapped up the wellness fair 2 weeks ago, and it was about honoring our essential workers and just really honoring the people that were really in the face of COVID and still just kept going and kept going. It was an opportunity for essential workers to take a step back and really look at what is self-care, how do we look after each other. So the collaboration is that, but it's also with the city, it's also with like Northern Health Authority, it's with BC Housing. So we tend to collaborate smaller with the smaller like nonprofit organizations, but really it's going to take all of us coming together to really meet the needs, the changing, expanding needs of the community. Terrace Women's Resource Centre has been around for almost half a century, and really what it started out as is women in the community getting together and really understanding that there were gaps that they needed to address, gaps in employment. And so they came together with a grant. Originally it was a grant, sorry, I can't remember the exact date, a long time ago, to kind of support women in the community to then kind of build their capacity. That funding was pulled, and the fantastic women actually started a nursery, the Golden Spruce Nursery, to actually grow trees, sell trees, to then put the money back into the society. So it's a legacy that I'm so honored to be a part of. Well, there's not a nursery. We're grant-based. Probably the nursery we would have been able to be more self-sustaining, but yeah, no, now it's grant funding.
That's impressive though, if they've been a nursery for a while. They're kind of on that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
This is our community kitchen. This was built, I think, I wasn't here, it was before my time, with the intention of eventually opening this up to community members and to programs and services who need the kitchen. We're getting closer to getting certified as food safe, so Kristen is working on that. Yeah. There's Tsimshian language. We had some Tsimshian language education, so everything is labeled with English and Tsimshian. And there's also, I think these are the story walks. So in the community, they'll also do story walks where they have actually, I'll show you out here. Oh, they're not here, but they're actually placards, these, that they actually have story information on, and they actually do a walk and read the story with the kids. Sometimes the kids get a book from it, but these are parts of the stories.
Yeah, we did one at Easter.
Oh, did you?
We went to Easter, yeah. So that they did like a hunt at the Heritage Park, and there was.
We're doing, because we are a hub, we're actually really well positioned to do some community development, like looking at asset mapping. So right now we're doing some asset mapping. We have a relationship with UBC. We're developing a relationship with UBC on how to, like, we have fantastic, amazing resources in Terrace, and it's just how can we do things, how can we collaborate really well? Like, we're all really, COVID really kicked kind of the gusto out of a lot of them, so how can we work better together and develop really good collaborations? So we do have what's called a book monster, and it's just where parents, it's like a book exchange. And Kristen makes sure that the books are appropriate for children.
They're children's books? Oh, yeah.
Yes, and this is more, I think these are more like our parenting and some children's books as well. And then this is our public access computer for people that need some support in computer literacy. I will step out.
Yeah, and so anyone can come in and get support and
Yep, so they're booked on our appointment, so you can come in an hour. If you need more in-depth, where somebody's actually walking through you, Bridget, they'll make an appointment with Bridget, our social services coordinator, and then she will also support that. But this is more independent. And they can email and fax through here as well. And these are some of the artwork that we are actually raffling off. Some of them are for sale, and we are raffling some of them off. This is Bridget, again, our social services coordinator, doing some fundraising.
Oh, nice. So you do fundraising here, that's like...
Yeah, some small.
So they were like, well, we have no one, but I'm sure we'll have some.
Our last thing, which is actually quite,
I want to get the front anyways, too.
this is our community cupboard. So this is a collective, it's a community. So lots of times community members will supply clothing, food, hygiene items, but we also, Bridget's doing a fantastic job of fundraising so that we can keep this filled. And it's a no barrier. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So anybody that needs it can come and grab whatever they need.
What would you recommend people put in there?
Like I say, food, hygiene items, sometimes clothes in the wintertime. There was a lot of coats, a lot of boots, a lot of those kind of things. So things that people would need that are currently unhome, things that are easy, accessible, easy to carry.
That's really nice. Do you ever have issues with it at all?
Yeah, we have had issues with it, but for the most part, it's really well respected. Yeah.
Yeah, still going, hey?
Yeah. And it's very well accessed. Like sometimes within minutes, it'll be empty depending on what the items are. We are collaborating with Skeena Heartbeat Society to do some garden boxes. So Skeena Heartbeat Society is doing front lawns, supporting people to do gardens in the front lawns instead of front lawns. And so this is part of the partnership, is we've got some garden boxes that we're going to be doing gardening.
And will you, who is going to be doing the gardening?
We're not sure yet. We do have the youth mentorship program that will support it. We have some staff members that will support it. Skeena Diversity has some people that will support it. So we're just thinking, just build it and they will come.
I'm sure, I bet. That's awesome.
It's just a fantastic place to work. Fantastic people work here. It's a really amazing work environment. It's very flexible. The board is fantastic. Yeah, and who wouldn't want to stand behind connecting resources within the community? And I really love that connecting and the asset mapping and looking at what's really so much of us, or so many services are looking at like what's wrong, like what's wrong with individuals, what's wrong with the community, what's wrong. And instead we're so well situated that we actually get to see like what are the fantastic things that are happening, and look at the really take a strength-based approach to like the fantastic things that are happening. So I get to see that every single day. So that's why I like it here.